Disclaimer: this content is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. I still remember the way she looked at me before closing the door. Her eyes held something, a promise maybe, or a goodbye. She said, "I'll come back tonight." That's all. No long explanations. No arguments. Just that. And I didn't ask her where she was going. I didn't say anything. I just left the key behind. It wasn't the first time she left like that, and yet something felt different. The silence in the room after she walked out was too heavy, like it had something to say, but didn't know how to say it. The kind of silence that makes your chest tight for no reason. You know that feeling? When your gut tells you something's about to change, but your heart refuses to believe it. We weren't perfect. Far from it. But we had our rhythm. The kind of connection you don't talk about out loud because it's hard to explain. She had her world. I had mine. And in the middle of it all, we had our late-night coffee runs, quiet laughs on rainy days, and that one playlist we never skipped. So when she said those words, "I'll come back tonight," I wanted to believe her. I really did. But instead of asking her to stay, instead of trying to stop her like any sane person would, I turned around, walked out, and left the key on the counter like a fool. Maybe I thought it would make her feel free. Maybe I just didn't want to seem like I cared too much. But I did. Now it's been hours. The clock keeps ticking, the air feels colder, and I keep checking my phone for a message that never comes. Every sound outside makes me think it's her. A door shutting. Footsteps. Even the wind. This story isn't about a big fight. It's not about betrayal or drama. It's about the space between two people who love each other but keep missing the moment to say it. It's about what we don't say and how sometimes that speaks louder than anything else. You ever been in a moment where you wanted someone to read your mind? To just know what you were feeling without having to say it? That's where I was. And now I'm stuck wondering, will she actually come back tonight? Was it a real promise, or just words thrown into the air to make leaving easier? If you've ever let someone walk away because you were too afraid to stop them, if you've ever held back when you should have opened up, then maybe this story is for you. What do you think happened next? Did she come back? Or did she say goodbye without saying it? Let me know in the comments, do you believe in second chances? Or do you think some silences are permanent? And if you were in my place, would you have left the key behind or chased after her? Vote in the poll above, and don't forget to share your thoughts below. This is just the beginning. Because sometimes the smallest decisions leave the biggest scars. And tonight, the story begins. I stood by the window longer than I care to admit, just watching the city lights blur in the fog. Every sound outside still made my heart jump, thinking maybe she was back. But it wasn't her. It never was. I played her voice over in my head, "I'll come back tonight." The way she said it, calm, like she already knew something I didn't. Like it was already decided. The thing is, we weren't even supposed to fall for each other. We were just two people crossing paths at the wrong time. Or maybe the right one. I met her 6 months ago at a late-night bookstore that was closing down. She was arguing with the owner about a poetry collection she claimed was mispriced. I don't know what made me step in, but I did. We left laughing, and she never paid for that book. Her name is Alina. She's the kind of woman who never explains where she's been, and you don't ask because deep down, you're afraid of the answer. She lived in moments. The way she moved, the way she talked, it was like she was always halfway out the door. But when she was with you, she was with you. Fully. Intense. Like nothing else existed. I should have known from the beginning that someone like her doesn't stay still for long. She was always dancing on edges between staying and leaving, between loving and protecting herself. And I was just the guy who fell too fast, thinking maybe I could be the reason she stayed. But tonight felt different. She wasn't smiling like she usually did. There was something in her eyes, like she was carrying a secret too heavy for her to hold. I didn't ask. I didn't press. Maybe that was my mistake. Or maybe that's what she wanted, someone who wouldn't cage her with questions. There were signs, now that I think about it. Last week, she got a phone call in the middle of the night. She stepped out onto the balcony and whispered, so low I couldn't catch anything. When she came back, her eyes were glassy, and she crawled into bed without a word. I wrapped my arm around her, and she let me. But she didn't sleep. I told myself it was just stress, or maybe something from her past she didn't want to talk about. We all have chapters we skip. But now I wonder, was that night connected to tonight? I keep walking through the apartment, her perfume still hanging in the air like a memory. She always wore the same scent, something warm, a little sweet, with a hint of spice. Now it's the only thing that makes this place feel less empty. Her coat is gone. Her favorite mug is still in the sink. She left her phone charger, but not her notebook. She always took her notebook when something serious was happening. It's where she wrote things she never said out loud. I checked the door again. Locked. The key still sitting where I left it. Untouched. My mind is spinning with questions. Who called her that night? Why did she look at me like she wanted to say something but couldn't? And why did I let her go without stopping her? I don't have answers. Only silence. So I sit back down on the couch, phone in hand, screen lit, waiting for something. A text, a call, a knock at the door. Anything. And still nothing. What do you think she's hiding? Do you believe she meant to come back, or was it just easier than saying goodbye? Comment below. I really want to know what you think. And don't forget to vote in the poll. Because sometimes the quietest nights echo the loudest regrets. The clock hit 2:17 a.m. and I was still sitting in the same spot. I hadn't blinked in what felt like minutes. Every now and then, I checked the hallway through the peephole, hoping to catch the sound of her heels coming back, hoping to see her shadow on the other side of the door. Still nothing. The city was too quiet for a Friday night. Even the traffic below had thinned, like everything had paused just to see what would happen next. I thought about calling her, but then I remembered she never took calls when she didn't want to be found. That was Alina. Mysterious, wild, but deeply private. I used to think it was part of her charm. Now I'm not so sure. I finally got up and opened the drawer where she kept her things. A couple of hair ties, a broken ring she never bothered to fix, and a Polaroid of us from that trip to Vermont, the one she swore she didn't enjoy, but kept the photo of anyway. Behind it, I noticed something else tucked into the side of the drawer. A small note, folded once. My name wasn't on it, but I opened it anyway. It wasn't long. Just one sentence written in her messy handwriting. If anything happens, don't look for me. What was that supposed to mean? Had she been planning this all along? Was this her way of saying goodbye without really saying it? Or was she in some kind of trouble? My thoughts spiraled fast. That late-night phone call. Her distant mood. The rushed goodbye. The note. All of it felt connected, but I didn't know how. And there's something else. There's a man, someone she never talked about, but who came up once, by accident. His name slipped when she was half asleep, mumbled like a secret. Luca. When I asked her who that was, she said, nobody. Just someone I used to know. That was all. She never mentioned him again. But now, that name stuck in my head like a warning. I opened her laptop. She always kept it locked, but I knew the password. She once told me she used it for work, freelance writing gigs mostly, but something told me there was more. I looked through her folders, and one caught my eye, titled Back Tonight. I clicked on it. Inside, just one file. A draft of a story. But it didn't read like fiction. It sounded like a confession. It was about a woman running from her past. A man who wouldn't let her go. And another man, she fell for someone kind, someone safe. The story stopped mid-sentence, unfinished, right where it felt like things were about to fall apart. Almost like she meant for me to find it. Was it about her? Was I the safe one? Was Luca the man she was running from? And if so, was she running tonight? The idea chilled me. What if she wasn't just being mysterious? What if she was scared? What if she left to protect herself or to protect me? I had no way of knowing. All I had was the note, the file, and a growing pit in my stomach. Now I'm stuck asking the questions I never thought I'd need to. Did she walk away to leave me behind, or to keep me safe? Do you think she's in danger? Or is there more to this story than she ever let on? Let me know what you think. Could Luca still be in her life? Why would she hide that from me? Drop your theories in the comments. Who is Alina really, and what do you think she's running from? Stick around, because this story is only getting deeper. I don't know how long I stared at the note. My hand was still holding it, crumpled slightly now from the way my fingers tensed. The words were short, only a few, but they carried weight. If anything happens, don't look for me. That didn't sound like Alina. Not the Alina I knew. She was stubborn, fearless, and always had this spark in her that didn't back down from anything. But maybe that was just what she wanted me to see. Maybe everything I thought I knew was only part of the truth. I sat back down at the laptop, opened the file again. Every sentence in that document sounded more like a diary than a draft. She was writing about trust, about feeling watched, about never being free even when she looked happy. And the name Luca came up again. This time with more detail. He wasn't just someone from her past. He was someone she once lived with. Someone who couldn't let go. She had written, "You don't escape a man like that by just leaving. You disappear and hope he doesn't find the pieces." That line stayed with me. I had to do something, even if she told me not to. So I started making calls. Quiet ones. First to her best friend Maya, the only person she still kept in regular contact with besides me. But Maya hadn't heard from her since yesterday morning. She didn't even know Alina had left tonight. "She looked fine," Maya said. "But you know her. She hides everything until it breaks her." I tried calling her phone again. Straight to voicemail. No updates. No messages. And then something else happened. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. No text. Just a missed call. I called back. Disconnected. Was it her? Or someone else? I replayed everything from the last few weeks, trying to piece it all together. The phone call in the middle of the night. The sudden mood swings. The way she started double-locking the door even during the day. Once, she even asked me if I ever noticed someone watching the apartment building. At the time, I brushed it off as anxiety. But now, maybe it was real. I stepped out onto the balcony for some air. The city looked the same. Lights blinking. Cars still rolling through intersections. But something about it all felt off. Like the calm was just the surface. I scanned the street below. A black car was parked across from the building. No lights on. No movement. It had been there earlier too. I just hadn't noticed. I stepped back inside and locked the balcony door. If she was running, she was serious about it. And maybe I was already too close to something she didn't want me caught up in. But here's what makes it worse. A part of me wondered if she was testing me. Seeing if I'd follow. If I'd care enough to chase her after she told me not to. Maybe it was her way of saying, if you really love me, you'll find me. Or maybe it was exactly the opposite. And what about the key I left behind? She could have used it. She could have come back quietly. She knew I'd be gone by now, or waiting somewhere else. But the key was still untouched. She never came back. Or she did, and something stopped her. I walked to the hallway and turned off the lights. I needed to clear my head. And then, just before I turned, I saw something. Under the door, a shadow. Just standing there. Not moving. No knock. No sound. Just a quiet figure on the other side. Was it her? Or someone else? You tell me, would you open the door? Or would you wait? Let me know in the comments what you think is going on. Who do you think is outside that door? Is it Alina? Or is the real danger just beginning? Stay with me, we're almost at the edge of everything. I didn't move at first. Just stood there, frozen, staring at the thin shadow at the bottom of the door. My heart was loud in my chest, too loud. Whoever was on the other side had to hear it. Still no knock. No words. Just stillness. I reached for the door handle, slowly, almost against my own better judgment. But something stopped me. Not fear exactly, something deeper. Instinct. I stepped back, grabbed my phone, and opened the camera. I quietly switched to video, slid it under the door, and hit record. 10 seconds. 15. I pulled it back and hit play. My breath caught. It wasn't Alina. It was a man. Tall, wearing a black hoodie, head down. Not moving, not pacing, just standing there like he belonged there, like he'd been waiting. I zoomed in. He had something in his hand. It looked like a piece of paper. Maybe a photo. I didn't open the door. Instead, I stepped back and locked everything again. Then I called the only person who might know what this was about. Maya answered after 2 rings. I kept my voice low and told her everything. The file, the note, the shadow at the door. Her silence was louder than my words. Did she ever mention Luca to you again? I asked. There was a long pause. She didn't have to, Maya said. I know who he is. And if he's back, you need to get out of there. Now. What do you mean back? She disappeared from his life years ago. I helped her. She changed her number, blocked him everywhere, moved cities. But he always found a way back. I thought we were ahead of him this time. I sat down slowly. My thoughts were racing. Why didn't Alina tell me any of this? She was trying to protect you, Maya added. That's what she does. She runs before people can get hurt. She left a note telling me not to look for her. Then she must have known he was close again. Suddenly, everything made sense. The paranoia, the quiet tears, the unfinished story. She wasn't just running away from a man. She was running from a past that wouldn't die. And maybe now he had found me too. I walked over to the window again. The black car was gone. But the unease stayed. Then came the knock. Not loud. Just 3 soft taps. I didn't answer. I didn't move. Another knock. This time, a whisper followed. A woman's voice. Open the door. It's me. I froze. It sounded like Alina. But something was off. Her voice had a shakiness I hadn't heard before. A hesitation that didn't fit. I stepped closer, but not too close. Say something only I'd know, I said through the door. Silence. Then she spoke again. You left the key. I saw it. That's how I knew you'd still be here. Still not enough. My hand hovered over the lock. But before I could make a choice, another voice cut through the hallway. A man's. She's lying. I stumbled back from the door. 2 voices. One claiming to be Alina. One trying to stop me. Was one of them real? Were either of them? You tell me, what would you do? Open the door? Wait? Or call the cops? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is outside? Is it Alina? Or someone using her voice? Don't go anywhere. We're almost at the breaking point. My hand hovered over the lock. Every nerve in my body screamed at me not to move. 2 voices. One door. One truth. I had seconds to make a decision that could change everything. I'm not lying, the woman's voice said again, softer now. Please, let me in. And then, through the door, she whispered a name, the name of my late sister. Alina was the only person I ever told about her. No one else knew that story. No one else could have known that name. My hand trembled. It had to be her. It had to be. I unlocked the door, but I didn't open it all the way, just a crack. That's when I saw her face, pale under the hallway light. Hair messy, eyes wide, like she hadn't slept in days. It was Alina. And behind her, just a step away, stood a man. Not moving, just watching. "Let me in," she said quickly. "Now." I grabbed her wrist and pulled her inside. Slammed the door shut. Locked it. Then deadbolted it twice. "Is that him?" I asked, breath sharp. She nodded, barely. "He followed me here," she said, voice shaking. "He's not supposed to know where I am. I swear I didn't mean for this to happen." I looked through the peephole. The man was still out there. Luca. He didn't knock. Didn't shout. Just stood there. Calm. Like he had all the time in the world. I turned back to her. "Tell me the truth. All of it. Now." She sat down on the floor, legs pulled up, hands shaking. "I met him 5 years ago," she began. "At first, he was charming. Generous. The kind of man who never said no to anything. But it changed. He changed. He became controlling. Obsessive. And when I tried to leave, he told me if I disappeared, he'd find me. And make whoever I loved suffer." That part hit hard. "That's why you kept running?" She nodded. "I didn't want to bring that danger to you." I took a breath, trying to stay calm. "So why tonight? Why come back?" "Because I couldn't stay away anymore. And I thought I could outsmart him. I thought I could leave you the truth, then disappear for good. But he found me before I could even finish the story." Her eyes met mine. "I'm sorry." The banging started then. 3 loud, solid hits on the door. My chest tightened. "We need to call the police." "I already tried," she whispered. "They won't act without a threat. And Luca, he's smart. He won't break the law. He plays games. Mind games." I picked up the bat I kept behind the couch. Not much, but it felt better than nothing. Then I turned off all the lights. More banging. Then silence. We waited. 10 minutes. 15. I looked through the peephole again. Empty. He was gone. Or so we thought. I walked into the kitchen, trying to breathe again. Alina followed. She held my hand like she wasn't sure if this was real or just another close call. That's when we heard it. Click. Not from the door. From the bedroom. I turned slowly. The sliding balcony door was cracked open. We both froze. And then, a voice from the shadows. "You should have just let her go." Luca was inside. He'd never left. He'd gone around. Waited. Watched. Patient. I raised the bat. But before I could take a step forward, Alina stepped between us. "No more running," she said. He smiled, but he didn't speak, because flashing lights cut through the window, red and blue. Police sirens. Maya had called them. She was tracking Alina's phone. Backup had come. Luca turned to run, but it was too late. He was taken. Just like that. And Alina? She collapsed in my arms. It was over. Or so we thought. Because a week later, while going through her old things, we found a second note. One she never meant for me to read. It said, "If he ever finds me again, don't trust what I told you." There's more I never said. What do you think that means? Was Alina still hiding something? Let me know in the comments. What would you do now? We sat in silence for a long time after the police took Luca. The lights outside eventually faded. The night quieted, but the air between us was still heavy, like something was unfinished. Alina leaned her head on my shoulder, exhausted, yet somehow lighter. She didn't say much. Neither did I. Words felt small after everything that had happened. The next morning, she made coffee, black, just how I remembered. We sat by the window as the sun came up, watching the city wake up like it didn't know how close it came to witnessing something darker. She handed me the second note again, the one she'd left for herself, but never gave me. Her hands were steadier now. "There's more I never said," I read aloud. "What did you mean?" She looked at me, eyes honest in a way they hadn't been in weeks. "There was a time I wasn't sure who I really was anymore. Luca made me question everything, my choices, my freedom, even my worth. When I met you, it felt like I could start over. But I didn't want to drag you into something that messy. You should have trusted me," I said gently. "I know. But I had to trust myself first." That moment felt like the real turning point. Not the night before. Not the cops. But this two people choosing to stay, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Over the next few weeks, Alina stayed. She didn't run this time. We both had scars, and we didn't pretend they'd disappear overnight. But we faced them together. We went for walks, cooked late dinners, sat on rooftops watching the lights of the city shimmer like secrets waiting to be told. One night, she asked, "Do you regret leaving the key behind?" I smiled. "No. Because it brought you back. And I think we both needed that door to open, not just literally, but emotionally too." She nodded. "Next time I say I'm coming back, I'll mean it with everything I've got." And this time, she did. If you've been watching this story from the beginning, thank you. It wasn't just a story about love. It was about trust, about healing, about standing still when every part of you wants to run. What would you have done differently? Did Alina make the right choice? Would you have opened the door? Let us know in the comments below, and if you'd like to see a sequel to the story, drop a key in the chat.